Welcome to the Weld Together podcast by United Way of Weld County, where we share stories about what's possible when people in a community come together for good. I'm your host, Diana Smith, and today I'm talking with Nate Taverner, Vice President of Individual Giving at United Way of Weld County. He's going to share a little bit about what it means to live a philanthropic life and about his unique path to joining United Way in Weld County. Thanks, Nate, for joining us today.
Hi, good to be with you today.
Well, I'm excited to talk with you today because you have just recently been elected Vice President of Individual Giving at United Way.
That is correct. I started early May.
Well, welcome, and we're glad
Thank
to
you.
have you.
It's wonderful to be here.
There's one question that we're curious to know about our guest on the podcast. That question is, what's in your cup? What are you drinking right now?
We're doing this in the morning, so it would be something different if we did this in the evening. But right now, it is a Kickstart energy drink. I'm an energy drink guy, and so that is currently what is in my cup.
Any particular flavor?
The orange. I only drink the orange. Yeah. And please, no judgment on the energy drink thing. We all have our things, and I understand that it has, there's connotations, but it brings me a little joy in the mornings, which we all kind of need sometimes.
Indeed, we do. Indeed, we do.
We might take a deep breath after, like, okay, this is going to be okay. But yes,
Yes.
orange kickstarts that's my jam. That's what's in my cup.
I'm curious, how long have you lived in Weld County and what brought you to Weld County?
Yeah, I've been in Weld County for about 15 years. Live in Windsor for all of that, but done a lot of work in all around Weld County. So after I graduated college, just came out here to get out of the humidity of the Midwest and, find a little something different and better, and really quickly fell in love with Weld County and what Weld County offers and the people. It's been super joyful for me.
And so where did you grow up? Where were you before you came to Colorado?
Yeah, I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, so been there and born there. So came out here, and when I was going to grad school down in Denver, I have a master's in theology and was a pastor for about 8 years in Windsor and did a lot with community-minded, community focus. And so after that, landed at a home builder here in town, and I was there for 3 years, really looking at the community. Gave back was kind of our mission. And so both in finances and services, volunteering, things like that, that kind of took me all over Weld County from, Wiggins to Fort Lupton, but just getting to know different people, around South County. And so when this opportunity opened up, it felt like a natural fit.
So when I was in college, we had a teacher who told us about 75% of college students won't actually work in the area of their degree.
I believe that.
Right? Yeah, which wasn't surprising. I think it might have been slightly discouraging to those of us who were pursuing a degree at that time.
Yep.
But I think what also happens is that nothing is wasted, actually. Whatever we learn, we carry through our work, in whether we change work or not. It seems like what we learn in each position that we hold and in each educational experience we take with us. Have you found that for yourself?
Absolutely. I really have. I mean, I think education is really important. I think one of the things, area you go in, and I think you learn resilience, you learn fortitude, you learn integrity, like in the process. The other thing that comes out of it, and exactly what you said about building upon the experiences, is all the soft skills. It's this opportunity to use what you've done or how you've learned or what you've studied to do something different. We spoke previously, before we hopped on the call, about writing, and I really enjoy writing. I really enjoy speaking. And 8, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that was preparing, writing, and giving sermons on a Sunday. Just because I'm not doing that doesn't mean I'm not still a writer. And so I think that's kind of the stuff that I look at in my past or in other people's stories that, well, we might not have the degree, we might not be working in the degree, but all of that set me up for an opportunity here where I can make an impact in our community.
Mm. I'm curious if you also see any kind of link between your theology degree and what you're doing now.
When I look at what I did in my studies and in education from that standpoint, it was a lot of history and it was a lot of people. I didn't learn the Bible so that I could be a master in all things knowledge base. It was with the idea that I believe this study will help impact people's lives and care for people in a new way. And so I think that approach easily translates to this, easily translates to my position, but a lot of nonprofit work where we need to know what's going on. We need to have an
Mm,
understanding, but the heart is not for the knowledge, it's for the people that we come in contact with. And so
mm,
it completely has set me up in a way that makes me successful in whatever I do, whether it's pastoring or working at a home builder, we're doing a lot of the same things because it's so much people based. And that translates in really anything that somebody might want to do.
I see such a link there also because there is so much that United Way of Weld County is involved in.
Mm.
Weld County is such a vast county that
Yes.
there are so many good stories to be told and that need to be told.
Oh, without a doubt. And it's all
Mm,
demographics, it's all ages, all socioeconomic, all races. That is Weld County. And, I mean, to me, that is the heart of the church.
mm,
And so it's just a different lens, but I'm doing a lot of similar things that I've always done. And I think adding age, adding experience, adding time in the business world, it only allows me to do that better. But I do have that lens of storytelling. And so now I'm telling the story of the Housing Navigation Center and the early childhood work that we're doing so that people can understand it and be a part of it if they choose. There's so much discouragement. And,
mm.
if you turn on any sort of a screen, you're going to see something. And my hope is that people could look to this podcast, to United Way, to the newsletter, and see hope.
Mm.
That's what we're trying to give and to share and to be a part of. And it is hope for connection, hope for change, hope for safety. That's the stories that I get to tell now in my role. And I could not enjoy it more.
You're right. Your background in so many community-centered arenas in terms of business and through the church, all of those things really lend themselves to philanthropy work.
Mhm. But it's not, my goal is not to go meet with people, with individuals who have worked hard, who have been blessed, who have things that they can share with others and say, hey, I need your money.
Mm,
That's not it. It's the idea that, hey, there's an impact, there's something going on, and I want to invite you to be a part of it.
mm,
And what I love about United Way is that there's so many areas, there's so
mm.
many different avenues for them to give, but it's about inviting others to be a part of the incredible work that's going on in our community.
I think that's one of the things that has impressed me the most about United Way is that everything that United Way does is done at the request of the community and people who are living day in and day out with the needs that United Way is meeting. So it's not like United Way is coming into the community saying, here's what we can do. It's United
Correct.
Way is asking the community, where is help needed and how can we serve?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, with our new strategic plan that we've been working on, that we've unveiled about a year ago, the idea of us being a convening partner, the collective impact mentality and mode of serving, where let's help bring people together that are doing really great work. There are smaller nonprofits, there are larger nonprofits that are really experts in what they do. And so, how can we kind of encourage them? How can we fund them? How can we partner with them and get them with other people who are doing similar work to multiply it really, and not just have a bunch of siloed nonprofits trying to fight the same thing, but really bring together this collaborative effort.
I would love to know, when you hear the word philanthropy, what comes to your mind? How would you define philanthropy?
Yeah, I think philanthropy is as much an action as a mentality. I think my heart for people is for all of us in whatever way that looks like to live with a philanthropic mindset. And it's a mindset of generosity and giving back. It's this idea that we can make an impact with what we have, whether it's a lot or whether it's a little.
Mm.
And the idea of thinking it's very others focused. And the other word that I've said a couple times is impact, is using those resources to really impact the community that we live in.
Do you have a story or even just an act of kindness that comes to your mind as a reason why this work is so important?
I mean, the reality is, how much time do we have on the podcast? Um, there's plenty. One thing that I would love to call out, and that's our Housing Navigation Center.
Mm.
We do the cold weather shelter over the winter, but during the day, we have resources for people to have a safe spot. And when I was visiting them over there, there was a gentleman who was, I would assume, homeless, and he was there and he had his head resting on a table. It was 90 degrees outside.
Mm.
And in that, I saw obviously rest in cool air,
Mm.
but I saw safety. I
Mm.
saw this man that could let his guard down for a little bit and be in a safe spot where he was cared for. And if he had greater needs that he wanted us to help with, we would do that. And if he just needed a safe spot where he could, with dignity, get some rest,
Mm.
I think that's a beautiful thing. Yes, we are a part of massive, huge things throughout our community. I think of Well Project Connect. It's one of my favorite events to volunteer at and have for a couple of years. But there's also these smaller moments that nobody else sees. And I think that's a beautiful thing along the spectrum of what we do that people really would benefit to know.
We have interviewed a couple of volunteers who work at the Housing Navigation Center. And I remember one of them told me, she said that she tries to get everyone she knows to volunteer because it's actually so much fun. It's so connective. Everyone is there working together and collaborating together and just amidst good company. And she said that a lot of the people that she recruits keep coming back because there's this really special spirit there.
It really is. And kudos to their team for creating that space. Huge things happen every single day.
Yes. So, from your viewpoint as VP of Individual Giving, what is on your mind? What is on your heart? What are you thinking, envisioning for this upcoming year?
One of the things I'm really excited about is our entire philanthropy team. Two of us are new. We have a lot of ideas and a lot of visions for growth. And every numerical growth benchmark we hit is a more exponential multiplication of the impact we have. We just announced funding for over 40 agencies, partner nonprofits. And
Wow.
so if we, for example, double our giving that we get to pull in with generous donors in our community, then we can double that impact, right? My heart is to get people signed on to the mission of United Way, to see the vision of the strategic plan, because the impact that is going to make is going to impact every citizen of Weld County. I'm excited about branching out and telling these stories of these smaller rural communities, towns that really have needs. They have things that we can partner with. So my dream is for all 31 municipalities in Weld County to feel like they are cared for by the United Way of Weld County, that they all know who we are and how we can serve them, and that we would know them, that we would know the nonprofits, that we would know the communities, and not just statistically.
Mm.
We can look at the Alice report and see who has need, but to really know these communities, to know what's going on.
I have some friends recently moved to Erie, and they're really looking forward to getting to know the county. I said, "You're so special. You get to live in Weld County."
uh,
Uh,
it's it's incredible, and the
mm,
people here really feel a pride in that,
mm,
and so my hope is talking to those leaders in our community, to the people that want to partner with us and say, hey, here's the vision, here's where we're going. Would you want to be a part of it? And the other joy that I have is to learn their names, to learn their families, to learn what makes them
mm,
tick.
mm,
Um, I am a huge believer that we all have different things that make us tick. We all have different passions. And by working with United Way, we can serve a lot of those areas. If homelessness is a big deal, we can direct your funds to that. If it's
mm.
young mothers who need diapers, we have a diaper bank that gives out 55,000 diapers a month,
Hmm.
and we can use your funding for that. From cradle to career to beyond, we can really give you an opportunity to make an impact in the areas that really drive your heart. And that is the connection that I want to make with donors in Weld County.
The Weld Together podcast is brought to you by United Way of Weld County, building powerful partnerships to bring about lasting community-wide change. Learn more at unitedway-weld.org. We were talking a moment ago about the importance of stories and how much we need them right now. What also comes to my mind is some of the studies that have been done around happiness. I'm sure you've heard of this one study that was done where a group of people were given $20. One group was told to keep the $20 for themselves. One group was told that they should give that $20 to somebody else or use it to buy a gift for somebody else. And the results of that study were that the people who gave away the money were the most happy. And quite significantly happier than the people who kept the money for themselves. And of course, all of us have needs, and $20 is a lot of money for some of us. But the point of the study, of course, was that giving actually does good in stereo. That it actually uplifts not only those who receive, but the givers as well.
Yeah, another study in direct correlation to fulfillment and happiness is isolation.
Mm,
And are you by yourself, or do you have people around you? And inherently, being generous and giving helps you to not be isolated. It helps
mm,
you to be connected to
mm,
others. I think human connection is something that drives me on a daily basis. But I think it's something that we see some of those ideas of happiness and fulfillment. And just by the basic nature of giving to someone else, whether it's time and volunteering, or money or expertise that
mm,
you might have, thinking of others is actually so beneficial to your own mental health, to your
mm,
own physical health, and so for me in my role, not only do I get to invite people to partner, but I get to invite people to make their lives better,
mm,
right? Like that's
mm,
what you're talking about, is this idea that when we are generous, that when we are giving, that we are connected to other people. Studies are showing that that is a good thing for us.
mm.
And so I just get to walk in the door and give that opportunity. I mean, that's a wonderful job to have.
We talk often about the three ways that folks can get involved with United Way of giving, advocating, and volunteering. And all of those are important. There's a lot of great companies, organizations who are helping, but the impact that individuals can make is not small, even if it's just one person.
No, individuals, again, I'm new, so don't hold me to this fire, but I think they accounted for, I think between 40 to
Mm,
45% of our giving last year.
wow.
And that's a massive number. It was over $1 million that individuals in our community signed up to say, yeah, I believe in this and I want to be a part of it. And so, and they are anywhere from $5 a year to five figures a year. And the reality is, when we all put our efforts and our dollars together, that is when we can make an impact. And
Mm,
so our 1,400-ish donors last year, They don't might not know each other, but the collective impact of a bunch of individual givers is what is driving the corporate nonprofit collective impact that we're trying and striving to succeed in. And that's what I love about it. The older I've gotten, the experiences I have, and now being a part of United Way of Weld County, we're not asking for money because we want your money. We're asking for partnership. We're asking for engagement for all three areas. And if we obviously will be asking for finances, but it's not just so that we can become the largest organization we can be. It's so that we can make an impact far greater than we've ever thought imaginable.
So if somebody listening hasn't given yet and they're feeling like they might want to get involved in one way or another as an individual, what are some ways that individuals can get connected?
The website, but please, my heart would be to reach out to me. My heart would be that you'd be willing to connect over coffee or lunch, or just I can stop by your office and say, hey, how do I get to know you so that you can get to know us? And what makes you tick? Because I want to be a part of that. It is a complete two-way relationship. It's not, please give us money and we'll talk to you when we need more money. It is we can't do this mission alone. We need you to be a part of it. What is your desire to give and in what way? So yeah, reach out to me. It would be great. We have a team here and we would love it to be relational and really to feel like you are part of it, because every single donor is a part of putting clean diapers on babies that need it. Every donor we have is a part of making sure that kids are ready to go to school and are connected and reading at their grade level by the time they're 8. Every donor is connected to each and every initiative that we have.
In kind of our high-tech modern world, we think that everything takes a link. I don't think a lot of people know that you can actually call the United Way office
You can.
and actually talk
Yes,
to a
you
human
can.
being.
We have humans here, and we would love to talk to you.
It's another brilliant part of what United Way offers is a phone number.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
do you by any chance know what that number is?
I have my number, my United Way direct line, and I'll give it out right now because if I get phone calls off of this, that would bring me so much joy. Is that okay to do?
Yes, please
Great.
share.
Let's do it. So it's 970-503-5149.
That's great. Can you say that one more time?
Yep. 970-503-5149. And I would love, and I mean it, love to have a conversation with anybody who is on the fence, or partners that we have that are like, I want to do more, or I want to see if I can get my family involved in this way. Bring it on and give me a phone call. We'd love to chat. I would love to chat and definitely get you connected to where you need to be and to make the impact that you desire.
Thank you, Nate, so much. So there's one other question that we like to ask our guests on the podcast.
Okay.
And that is, what fills your cup? What keeps you going?
As cliche as it might sound, and on another podcast we can dive deep, but my family, my wife and I have 2 boys, and right now it's baseball season, right? So watching them play, seeing their joy and excitement, that is superb. The other thing that I always say is an answer is our front porch, especially in the summer and the spring and the fall. My wife and I will sit on the front porch, and whether we talk or whether we read or watch sporting events on our laptop, I sit on the front porch. I'll have a cigar and have some just time to recharge at the end of the day. That is what fills my cup. Those 2 things.
It does sound pretty ideal, I have to say, Nate.
Yep, it's a good one.
Yeah, maybe watch out. You might have some other people joining you on your porch after hearing this
Let's
podcast.
do it. Listen, one of my love languages is cigars, and so if that interests you, you're welcome on my front porch.
It's been so good to talk to you, Nate.
You as well. I'm excited to be on the team, and there is a lot of goodness, a lot of joy, and a lot of human flourishing coming to United Way of Weld County.
Join the caring power of the United Way of Weld County community. Visit unitedway-weld.org, where you can learn more about our projects, find great volunteer opportunities, and donate. Special thanks to our cornerstone partners, our leadership givers, and the many individuals who make our work and this podcast possible. The music you heard today is by Alex Productions. I'm Diana Smith, your host. Thank you again for listening to the Weld Together podcast. And until next time, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and remember, even a little good can go a very long way.